what was the first step you took to be confident enough to quit? Because a lot of people have like a fear around, oh crap,
Yeah.
if I quit this, then like my life will be unstable, and all those like pressures that money has. And so like what gave you
Money,
the
man.
confidence to say it's
Yeah,
okay?
dude. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. I had some good advice from people. Like I for like a year leading up to actually quitting, I was like trying to figure out how it worked. And I remember like the office where I worked was in Soho in New York. And Soho, if you don't know what that means, it's like a very fashionable neighborhood. And like it's a lot of um like Prada and Gucci and like all the all the high-end fashion stores are there, and like there's a lot of cool people like hanging out. And I would go to lunch and like get my sandwich or whatever, right? And there'd be just people like hanging out on the street, like or like standing outside of a bar or whatever in the middle of the day, and I'd be like, for so long I was like, what do these people do? Like how are they just not at work? They're just standing around like wearing fancy fashionable clothes and like looking cool and like and it was my dream. And so then I had a couple friends that were freelance. One of my friends was a photographer, and he has a great business and like super successful and busy. And it was, but it's like half the time he was just hanging out. He was like walking his dog and like, and I'm like, dude, like, how do you get there? So anyway, long story short, I really wanted to like be freelance and like have my own like autonomy. And I talked to a couple people who did, and the big sort of like the common piece of advice was like, you got to have enough money to live for X amount of time. And a lot of people are like, oh, you got to have enough money to live for a year, live for 6 months. And I basically had saved up enough money to live for 6 months. And it's like, because even if you quit your job, and I was freelancing too, so like I knew I had stuff to do, but even if you're freelancing and like and busy, it might take 6 months to get paid,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous, but like that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the big things was, you got to have like at least 6 months of money saved, right? And then the other thing that kind of gave me courage was worst case scenario. And I talked to some recruiters and everything, and it's like worst case scenario, you just go get another job. Like
Yeah.
it's never a bad look to
Yeah.
like take a year off and do something else, right? And all the recruiters were like, if you want to be freelance, like you can still do work with like brands and agencies and studios. Like they need freelancers all the time, and I didn't understand that at the time really
Mm.
either. So it kind of gave me this like, all right, like I've got some money, I worst case I can just go get another job, but in the meantime, like I guess I can like help out with like other design studios and agencies if they need it, while I'm trying to figure out how to like do my art. And at that time, I thought I was going to be more of an illustrator.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do graphics, I want to like illustrate. And that's a super tough business. So like over time I realized like actually what I love doing is painting murals,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not illustrating, because illustrating, it's like you're just drawing a picture of what someone needs, you're not drawing a picture of what's in your heart. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, now I'm rambling about it, but I think the advice is like, you got to have some money in the bank, believe in yourself that like you can do it, and worst case, like plan B, you just can get another job, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And so the other thing I've found that as a freelancer is that initially, when you're working as a designer, you're doing one job. All you're doing is designing, right? And then you become a freelancer and you realize, actually, I'm doing like 10 jobs now. I'm my own PR agent. I'm doing my admin. I'm doing all these things. How did you come to terms with understanding the business aspects of running your own business, as it were, and then also personal branding and how important that is?
Well, yeah, I mean that's like a good topic, because it's like a crash course, there's no really way to like learn that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean there are resources obviously, like, and I found some stuff online, I think, but I kind of just had to figure everything out, and like like learning how to like invoice, and at the time like we didn't have like Zoom meetings. Like I was like all the time, like just like on the train, like going to like going to have a meeting with somebody or whatever, and like you spend, and then you realize that you spend so much time like on all the other shit. And
Yeah.
then when do you actually like draw or paint or make anything or design anything? It's like such a small part of it. So I don't know, I think I think I had to just like stumble through it all, and now I kind of have like a rhythm of it, you know. And now I have an agent, so I don't do any of it anymore.
Okay.
But like that's another thing too, because you can't just stumble out of your job and like into having an agent very
Yeah, yeah.
easily. So it's like you could kind of got to learn all that stuff first, you know.
Uh, well, relinquishing control to people who can do that aspect is part of the learning curve I found. Because, like, for myself as well, I felt like I had to do it all. And then I was like, actually, it's worth investing in a good accountant so I don't have to deal with the headache of doing the
Yeah,
taxes, even though I had to learn how to do it to a level. And then
yeah,
having somebody to just manage that meant, okay, that's one thing off my plate. And then
right.
slowly learning to, okay, we can trust these people, hire these people to do different aspects of it so that it's not like all that other junk is not there preventing you from actually doing the stuff you wanted to do in the first place, which was create and
Hmm.
make and all the rest of that.
So true. Yeah, yeah. And relinquishing, that's a good word. Like relinquishing control is difficult. You have to learn how to do that, and especially like once you kind of master like doing everything for yourself, then it is hard to let go, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me, like I found that even having an agent, um like not being a part of client conversations until it's a creative brief, you know, like that was really hard for me because I was used to like selling myself on like getting the work, you know, and like and now it's like dude, I've like let go so much,
That's
but
true.
I've learned to get here. Like this was a process.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
It's realizing what is most important for you. And,
Hmm.
sometimes we can get caught up on the control aspect rather than the area that we really will flourish in, which is the creative.
Right.